What would it mean to you to be the #1 pick in the draft?
I want to be the first guy taken. You know, it's my competitive side. I realize no matter where you get drafted, you got to go to wherever you go, and you got to prove yourself.
We're not just going to talk about all the great stats. We're going to point out eye-opening things that they need to work on. We were so happy to find this fit in top play, just so we could show it on national TV. You're not even the great Luke Joeckel's perfect.
Hurts.
There's no more Mr. Nice Guy.
Welcome to this SportsCenter special, Gruden's QB Camp with Luke Joeckel, presented by Corona Extra.
Well, I haven't met Luke, but I sure wish I had coached Luke. He's got everything you're looking for on tape. Athleticism, size, reliability, fundamentals, technique, discipline. What I wanted to find out from Luke today was what the transition was like, first of all, going from the Big 12 to the SEC, having to block a whole new cast of defenders, having to learn a new offense, and having to block for a quarterback that plays the position unlike anyone else, Johnny Football.
Just surprised with getting an invite to the QB camp. It is called the QB camp, and being the first offensive line invited was just a huge honor. I got a twin brother who's a backup quarterback at A&M, and it was a dream of his to be here. And I like to rub it in his face, saying that I'm here as an offensive tackle.
Luke Joeckel,
Sir,
Texas A&M Aggies. Thanks for coming to the FFCA.
it's great to be here.
You're my first offensive lineman.
No, I'm excited about it.
Been having all these quarterbacks in here, all these prima donnas. What do you think about that?
You know, I'm not as pretty as they are, but hopefully I'm a little bit more interesting.
You know, I read somewhere a lot of people were picking Texas A&M to finish 10th or 9th in the SEC. Whoa, the SEC. You guys are a Big 12 team. Was that a big motivation for your team?
Yeah, for sure. I was lucky enough to be able to go to the SEC Media Day, and you can ask Coach someone. First thing I said when I left there was, man, they don't think we're going to be pretty good. They think we're a bunch of softies that can't run with them. And, definitely put a chip on the entire team's shoulder. And, we wanted to go out there and prove the entire country that, we had the talent to compete with the SEC. We had the speed to compete. And we definitely had pretty good offense and defense that would, show some people up.
You're one of the few left tackles that has protected the blind side of a Heisman Trophy winner, Johnny Manziel. And people got to remember, you took care of this kid, too, in a different offense. And Tannehill, he's a heck of a quarterback.
Yeah.
Tell me about what it was like being a left tackle for Ryan Tannehill.
Tannehill was the pocket passer, standing in there, get rid of the ball pretty quickly. And then we have Johnny, there's probably some clips of him holding on to the ball for about 12, 15 seconds, bouncing around back there and making plays and taking off and running for touchdowns. And the amount of confidence he has as a young player is unheard of.
What's it like protecting this quarterback? How the hell do you know where he's going?
You don't. You just try to hold on to your block as long as you can and try to just give him some space to make plays out of it.
What do they call him, Johnny Football?
Yeah.
Why do they call him that? Come on, man.
He came in with that nickname.
What a name.
His high school.
Wish they called me that.
I think he had 70-plus touchdowns as a senior in high school.
Did he really?
Passing, something like
Johnny
something
Football?
crazy like that. So he kind of came in as a little bit of a high school legend, and he's definitely added on to it.
What do they call you?
Nothing. Just an offensive lineman. They don't have good nicknames for offensive linemen.
Just make a note. You got to take some notes in here too today,
course.
Luke. You can't be like a lineman. You got to be like a QB. But change is going to be such a big part of it. You're going to have to change coaches. You're going to have to change quarterbacks. You're going to have to change who you play every year. And your ability to adapt and adjust, unbelievable. A new conference, a new quarterback, and how about changing coaches? That had to be hard. You were close with Coach Sherman.
Yeah, that's why I went to A&M, was for Coach Sherman. He's a pro-style guy, offensive line guy, but I visited Houston while Coach Sumlin was at Houston before that, and loved him. Thought he was just, he's much more of a player's coach, and he's a cool guy to play for.
He looks cool. I mean, look at his suit. He's got a lot better dressed coach than most guys I see. One of the things I like about you the most, I like the two guys you've had to block in practice the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And can you talk about Joeckel on the practice field, blocking men like Von Miller and DeMontre Moore?
Yeah, I graduated high school early, and so my first spring ball, my first one-on-one block was against Vaughn. And, I don't think I touched him 3 plays in a row. Just didn't even touch him. The first one he ran right by me, the second one he cut underneath me, third one I think he ran by me again. And, I thought that's what college football was like. But, I soon realized that he's probably one of the best pass rushers that's come out in a long time. And, going against him in practice every day made me a much better player. I was lucky to have him there. And he was a guy that also worked with me. He'd be in the locker room with me after practice and talk me through of what I was doing wrong. He helped me out a ton. And, DeMontre was the same way.
It benefited you, though, every day, though, going up against the best college football had. It made games easy, didn't it?
Yeah, it really did.
You don't like defensive linemen, do you?
Not very much. I don't think they like us either.
Let me ask you this. You get the Kansas City Chiefs on the clock April 25th. What would it mean to you to be the number 1 pick in the draft?
It'd be such a blessing. It'd be just, dream come true and all that. And I'm definitely fighting for that. It's my competitive side. I want to be the first guy taken. I realize no matter where you get drafted, you got to go to wherever you go, and you got to prove yourself, and you got to have a great work ethic, and that's all I want to do.
I don't ever remember hearing a guy give me a report on an offensive lineman that didn't say he is or isn't nasty. Mm-hmm. And everybody wants a little nasty.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
What's your feeling on being a nasty offensive lineman? Physical, ornery, tough, mean, nasty, pissed off, whatever word you use at A&M.
In 4th grade, he started playing tackle football, and the first thing my dad ever taught me, he was my coach, and he played at Texas Tech, and, he's an offensive lineman. He said, you can be the nicest guy you want to be off the field, but when you step on that field, you got to be the nastiest out there. You got to want to. And
Your dad said that?
He used those words when I was a 4th grader, so he was the guy that we'd watch tape of our 4th grade and 5th and 6th grade games right when we, left the game. So he'd chew us out about, not hustling and stuff like that, not playing nasty enough. And so that's just something I've always tried to incorporate into my game, and just, being a guy that plays through the echo of a whistle, and, finishing guys and run blocking and pass protection when you can. And, it's something I was taught early, and got to thank all that to my dad.
See, I love this. Make a note about Dr. Joeckel, Mr. Hyde. Have you heard about that? Dr. Jekyll's this nice doctor, right? He just does everything right. Every once in a while, this Mr. Hyde, he comes out, he's just downright nasty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And right here, this ain't no Dr. Joeckel. This is Mr. Hyde coming off the ball. I mean, this had to be a real satisfying point of attack finish right there.
That was
Was
fun. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Spring a touchdown, it's a dream block.
Well, that's Mr. Hyde right there, man. I love that guy. Great work.
Next on Gruden's QB Camp with Luke Joeckel.
I've been on some sidelines where, tell me about your stance. I watch you. You have this 2-point stance. I bet 90% of your career you're in a 2-point stance, at least the tapes I've seen.
Yeah.
Right? Tell me what you're doing with your stance. I think every left tackle, the great ones, they have a trademark stance.
Yeah.
They really do. Some guys have a flatter back. Some guys have a more erect stance. Everybody has their own stance. Can you just stand up and show me your stance so I can hear you explain what you're doing with it? Talk to me about your 2-point stance at left tackle.
The thing I learned when I first got in, you can't be comfortable. You can't just be comfortable in your stance and just sit down in it. You got to be triggered up. You got to be springed up. So your weights, this is Coach Turner, my first coach. He says your weights, you're 310 pounds. You got to have about 290 pounds of your weight on the big toe of your front foot. So that you're just springed up. And, you got to sit in there. You got to feel like the first thing that's coming off, so you can't have your front foot rock at all. You're just losing time. So you got to be able to have all your weight right on that big toe. So the first thing that comes off is your left foot. You're able to kick out of it. And then you're trying to drag your post foot straight back. You don't want to yank it with you because that's when you get beat inside.
Can you teach me your left-handed stance or 3-point stance? Just teach me how much weight you're putting on that down hand.
Everything starts with your stance. So, a 3-point stance, if you're trying to do as uniform as possible, but, in pass protection, your hand's a little bit further back towards your body, so your weight's a little bit further back. So you're going to put your hand down a little bit lighter, but you don't want to show it your knuckles first off, because that's the first trigger that defense line's got is seeing if his knuckles are red from putting weight on, or if they're white from not putting any weight on. So you want to show it. You don't want to show it too much. You're trying to push down with your hand, and you're triggered up. And so your first step out of pass will be here. So your foot's got to be the same thing. Your weight's got to be on that big toe. Out of run, you can put a little bit more weight on your hand. Your back's a little bit flatter, but not too much more. And you got to be able to take your first step vertical upfield. So, when you're 3-point, you can take a more vertical step. In a 2-point and run blocking, it's more of a play step.
How do you like your stance? You like your stance?
Yeah, I think I like it a little bit.
What do you prefer? You like being up or down, or does it really matter?
It doesn't really matter to me. Whatever the coach asks me to do.
Let me ask you, isn't speed the number one thing you got to stop? Isn't that the fastball of every great rusher?
Exactly.
And does his alignment, the wider he is, affect your set? It has to, right?
Yeah, for sure.
How does it affect your set? If Freeney gets wider and wider, you can't keep setting vertical, right? Don't you have to set out towards him a little more?
A little bit, but you want to try to stay as vertical as possible. I mean, if his alignment's right on you, there's no reason why you can't just, jump a little bit earlier. But if he's back there, you got to get to that spot before he does. And, you got to be, you almost got to be straight vertical with it. Because if you turn out to him too much, you're giving him a two-way go. You open up your shoulders to him, he can go inside, he can go outside. So you got to try to stay square as long as possible.
This is where I think it's easy to get in trouble, man. Is you're a left tackle, you just got beat by a speed rush.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy just ran right by you. Freeney got off the ball. He's running 4.4 out there. His motor's running. So now I'm going to set for the speed, and he runs right over me.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that combination of speed and power? How do you stop both of them?
The biggest thing is, getting your hands on him first. You don't want him inside your body. And the other thing is, you always got to keep your stagger. You got to have your hands on him inside, and that's when you got to drop your butt.
One thing I love about Luke Joeckel, I see you, this Mingo over there, isn't it?
Yeah.
I see you guys handling stunts better than any team in college football. I mean, you don't seem to be bothered by these ET stunts or TE stunts.
No.
You guys practice it or what?
Yeah, we did a ton.
You did?
A ton practicing.
This is Alabama, right?
Yeah.
I'm watching Alabama. They got all these great nickel pass rushers. I'm thinking, I got to see Joeckel in this game. So here's a stunt off the left side, and look at Manziel. He's just standing back here like it's 7-on-7. I mean, does Johnny Manziel take you guys out for a hot dog or something? Does he?
No, I mean,
Can you imagine getting this kind of protection in Tuscaloosa?
It's we did a pretty good job this year, and he mentioned every name of his offensive line in his Heisman speech. That was kind of cool.
I wish my whole team could be up here with me tonight, especially my great offensive line and the whole offense. Luke Joeckel, Jarvis Harrison, Cedric Oboye, Jake Matthews, and Patrick Lewis. I'm as safe standing right here as I am in the pocket with you guys. You've done a great job of keeping me off my back, and I can't thank you enough for everything.
He's promised us a steak dinner, and I think all five of us are still going to make that happen.
I'm showing you all this pass protection. Isn't that why people are talking about you maybe being the number one pick in the draft? Because you can block the damn sun out, can't you?
I got a lot better at it this year.
Uh-huh. These stunt pickups, I could sit here and show you these all day. I guess we don't have all day. You want a copy of this tape, don't you?
Yeah, it doesn't look bad. Oh, yeah. I'd like to show my dad it. He might be proud of me.
What are the keys now to being a left tackle and switching a TE stunt?
Well, the first key is, if you got a 3-tech to your side, you got that post foot's got to be straight back. You can't kick it out. You can't gank it towards the defense end at all, or you're creating way too much space between you and the guard. And, he can't be too heavy with this defensive tackle throwing him outside, or that fast, defense end right there is going to run right inside him and be right in the quarterback's face. So, you got to be straight back, straight vertical set, and you got to have a drag hand and be able to just overtake him when he knocks him off.
I like the way you talk, man. We used to have a left guard in Oakland named Steve Wisniewski. He went to like 9 straight Pro Bowls. He used to love the switch TEs. When he switched it, you could still hear him. I can still hear him going, switch! I tell you, Steve Wisniewski, he'd switch some stunts now. Well, I've been on some sidelines where a tackle gets beat, sometimes clearly beat. laid off the ball, didn't get the audible, looked bad.
Yeah.
And the tackle comes unglued. Oh, no! Oh, my God!
I've always stayed pretty even. You know, as a true freshman, you know, there was times where I got a little shooken up, stuff like that. But, you know, since then, you know, I've always tried to stay pretty even. You know, I hate losing. The best part about being an offensive tackle is the competitive aspect. It's a one-on-one block pretty much every single play, and I hate losing, but, you know, I realize it happens, and you just got to be able to drop it, and that's what makes the great players, the guys that can forget about the play before and just play the next one.
How about this inside move, this Missouri man? What was this protection?
This was a pop 513, so it's a show run. I know I was manned up, so my aiming point's got to be a lot tighter. It's got to be almost midline rather than play side number, and you know, I should have known that he was even jumping inside a little bit on before the snap count.
Are you able to self-correct?
For sure.
I mean, that's what the great players do. They don't need a coach to say, hey, you overset. You know, we overset. You missed your landmark. Da-da-da. We don't need to step through it on the sideline. I can't just show you getting beat, man. I can't just show you a highlight tape, a wrecking machine every single play. There's my guy from Missouri. I got you here, didn't I?
Yeah.
On the spinner?
Yeah, I remember this one.
Talk to me about it. If you had to do this again, what would you do on this spinning, man?
Wouldn't put my head in it. I'd lean my head into it, bend at the waist, and then just totally go off balance from there.
And here at the FFCA, we were so happy to find this spinning top play. You know that? Just so we could show it on national TV. You're not even the great Luke Joeckel's perfect.
Hurts.
Will you make sure that you keep this practice inventory alive, man? You know, your formula on the practice field, you know, taking pride in the individual work and collaborating with the line coach. You know what you've been working on. Hey, geez, Coach Gruden, every day I go out to work, we're working on drive blocks. And we're going to work on some pass protection. Have some input into some of the things that you think you need. You know, don't be a guy that doesn't, you know, come from a school of, hey, I've done a lot.
Yeah.
You know what you need sometimes. I mean, if you need to hit the fastball, if you need to get in the batting cage and hit some fastballs, let's hit some fastballs.
Yeah.
And let's damn sure not let some of these spinning tops get you. Because as soon as Freeney and Abraham and all these hungry pass rushers looking for a new team see this, they're going to spin on your ass too, right?
Next on, presented by Corona Extra, who invites you to find your beach.
Let's go back real quick. You're going to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, playing the undefeated, #1 ranked Crimson Tide. What a college football mecca this is.
Yeah.
Tell me about the mindset of your football team going into Tuscaloosa.
We really had a ton of confidence. We had a great week of practice, and you know, Coach Sumlin and our offensive coordinator, Coach Kingsbury, you know, they were saying before the game, like, don't be surprised when we jump up on this team 21-0. And everyone's kind of like, yeah, all right, this team's the #1 team in the country. And we came out there and just jumped on them. I think they were surprised with our tempo. They were surprised with this guy right here. And, you know, we got after him.
When Manziel hit this corner route in the end zone, I mean, you could hear a pin drop. And then, was this your favorite play of your life right here?
I think so.
The victory play at the end of the game?
It's one of the greatest experiences of my life so far. I haven't had kids, haven't been married, you know, none of that. So my great experiences are great football games, and this was the best one I've ever played in.
That's great. That's well said, too, man. Look at you, though. You're exhausted after this game.
I was pretty tired.
You went to Texas A&M to revive the program, to get it re-jolted, didn't you?
Exactly.
And after you beat Alabama, it was like mission accomplished, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Why are you coming out? You could come back. I got to ask that question. You could come back for another year. You got the Heisman Trophy winner. I saw you beat Alabama. You could win a national championship. Why are you deciding to come out, Luke?
You know, it was just an opportunity I couldn't pass up. First of all, I felt like I was ready for it. I played against great talent in college. You know, played against 2 great conferences. And, you know, I definitely think I'm ready for it, and I couldn't pass it up.
I mean, when you're looking at left tackles, why Joeckel? Why is he the #1 tackle? Tell me that.
My opinion, you know, I'm durable. Started 39 straight games at A&M. Never missed a game. You know, I've played in 2 totally different systems. Played pro-style attack, spread offense, And I did a great job for whatever coach I played for. I blocked for 2 great quarterbacks. My sophomore year, our offensive line only gave up 9 sacks all year for Tannehill. And this past year, Johnny, he had all day. We did a great job protecting him and, helping him, win the Heisman. So, they're great quarterbacks, but they got to think a lot to their offensive line. And I was part of some great teams that won football games. I think I can carry that on.
It's a lot of pressure if you do get picked that high. Even if you're not the number 1 guy, if you're number 2 or 3, what a lot of pressure. I mean, you're going to go to one of these teams, they're going to be saying, we got Joeckel at left tackle. He's never going to be beat. He's the perfect left tackle. And there's going to be some blogger. There's going to be some writer that can't wait till you get beat. Even when you don't get beat, somebody else screws it up. They're going to blame you. And they're going to write on their little blogger that Joeckel stinks. Joeckel got beat. Joeckel got beat. You know what I mean? There's a lot of pressure. How do you deal with all that? How are you going to be able to handle that?
You just got to shut it all out. You got to listen to the right people that are looking out for you. Like your coach, your O-line coach, your head coach, the OC. There's other certain people in my life that I'll listen to, but the rest of them, that stuff really doesn't even matter. And I understand that. I'm going to be one of the hardest workers on the team. That's who I am. That's all I can do. So all that other stuff is just, it's just noise.
I don't think there's any question, Luke. You got a great future ahead of you. But I just, I want to tell you thank you for coming in here. Bust your butt, man.
Yes, sir.
And congratulations on your college career. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Thanks
I really
for joining
enjoyed
us, man. Appreciate it.
for having me.
I don't predict the future for anybody, but if I was to predict what's going to happen to Luke Joeckel, he's going to be in multiple Pro Bowls. He's going to be the anchor of an outstanding offensive line. He's going to elevate the play of the offensive line when he walks into that room.